Welcome back to Capitol Review. The president says that he's considering reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug. The president says the decision of whether to reclassify marijuana is a complicated one currently. It's a Schedule I drug listed as having a high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use. The administration is considering making it a Schedule III drug, which the Drug Enforcement Administration says has less potential for abuse. If marijuana were rescheduled, it would still be considered a controlled substance and not legal recreationally nationwide.
Great things having to do with medical, and I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else.
Joining us now is Gretchen Gailey. She's a cannabis advocate and the president of Project Champion. Gretchen, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thank you for having me.
We're always glad to have you. Your organization has been working directly with the White House on this, on changing the direction of cannabis. Talk about the involvement and tell us where we are right now.
So we partnered up with a group, Mission Green, headed up by Weldon Angelos, who was pardoned by the president in his first administration for his cannabis offense. And we put together a letter, just a simple letter at the beginning of the summer, sent it off to the White House, asking for the president to follow through on his promise on the campaign trail to reschedule cannabis to Schedule III. And we also want to take a look at clemency issues and some other things that we think would be common sense cannabis reforms. And the White House, they reacted positively to our letter. And so we've been moving forward and talking to various folks in different parts of the administration about how this could possibly work.
In the past, you and I have talked about this, and you've been critical of previous administrations on both sides of the aisle. Why are we where we are now?
Honestly, I have no idea. But this president, he has heard from a lot of folks, and he has been looking a lot more into the medical side of cannabis. I think a lot of people forget about the medicinal properties. They think it's all about people trying to get high. But reclassifying it from a Schedule I to Schedule III drug would just allow us to do research, to take a drug that is completely federally illicit and allow state legal run businesses to operate more smoothly. And so it's not a full legalization of the plant. It truly just allows us to start doing the research, the baby steps that we need to make this a more viable industry.
Gretchen, a lot of people call President Trump very transactional. Critics say that this is just all about making money and not helping people for medicinal purposes, but can't both be true?
Both can be true, but I don't think that the president is being transactional in this. I think he's looking at this as a common sense reform. A big part of what rescheduling to Schedule III would do is take away the punitive IRS tax code 280E. So we're not looking to get any explicit, wonderful tax benefits from the president. We're looking to just be treated like any other legal business would be.
You had mentioned earlier that cannabis or marijuana certainly had an adverse impact. And you talked about, again, rescheduling with meaningful clemency. Talk a little bit more about why that's been such a big, important issue that you've been pushing.
Well, it's almost a ridiculous concept that people are still sitting in jail for this plant when companies, like you say, are making money. Companies are making millions. It's a $38 million industry, and we still have people sitting in federal prison and state prisons for a plant that we believe anyone should be able to use medicinally. It just doesn't make sense at all that we are wasting taxpayer efforts and time on incarcerating these folks, that we're prosecuting them, that the police have to waste their time dealing with folks who are just consuming cannabis. It's just a common sense reform.
President Trump signaled that maybe he's optimistic that this will move forward, maybe by the end of the year. What has to happen between now and then?
I mean, honestly, for the president to move forward, all he would have to do is work with the Attorney General to tell her and discuss how the DEA should do this, and then Pam Bondi can go ahead and reclassify if she likes.
Look into your crystal ball. Is this going to happen?
I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed. We've been waiting a long time for a reform. We haven't seen this much federal action since Nixon outlawed it 50 years ago. So this is, an exciting summer for us, and we're hoping that it'll be a great fall.
Gretchen Gailey, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark.